Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Q&A. If you've made it this far, thank you. We have a good chat in store for you today. But first, in the chat, please let us know, can you stay focused all day? And what are some productivity tips and tricks that you have for the viewers? Let us know. We would love to hear them from you because we're gonna talk a lot about focus and productivity. The Secretlab ATLAS has been the last 4 years of our life, and I'm here with the main man, Vincent, our head of industrial design. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Glad to be here as well. So this is the first time Secretlab has ever created an ergonomic task chair. Why is this the right time now?
Maybe I could just share why we decided to do this product in the first place. It's been more than 4 years since we launched the Titan Evo. And since then, we've been so busy. We've launched a whole Magnus desk line. We've got all the accessories that come with the chair and the desk. So it's like literally dozens of projects. I guess we're doing it now because we learned a lot during the Titan Evo days on how to build a really good chair from support to comfort. So we really wanted to take everything that we learned while designing the Titan Evo. So things about the cold cure foam, things about the upholstery, support and comfort, even the ergonomic dimensions that create the contours of the product, and then reconfigure it into a productivity-focused task chair.
So Vincent, I must admit, I had never heard of a task chair before. What is a task chair, and what do we do that other office or task chairs miss?
I think a lot of the office chairs that we've tested or see on the market, they're really focused and designed for office environment. And generally, if your boss is walking by, you don't want to be seen like sleeping or napping at the desk. So they've designed it for one particular posture, but they don't really pay attention to the rest component of this productivity. So you'll notice that backrest is mid-height. You don't get sufficient headrest, and you don't get the right amount of adjustability to switch between focus mode and rest mode. And that's some of the things that we noticed, and we really made sure that the Secretlab ATLAS hit those marks. So you'll notice we've got the full height backrest. You'll notice that we've still got the memory foam head pillow, and we've also made it incredibly easy for you to adjust the resistance and the tilt however many times you want throughout the day, just so you can tune in the right amount of support.
Okay, I think we need to double click a little bit into focus and rest mode because I know that so many people want to be more productive. What do you mean by productivity?
Basically how it works is that you cycle between sets of focus mode and rest modes so that you can prolong how long you stay productive or how long you can focus. And we were using this to, for work and for gaming, just so that we can do more out of our day. The focus mode for me personally is like when I sit upright with my spine stacked and then my feet firmly planted on the floor. And for some reason, everyone can go try this at home. You just become more focused in this position. I feel like it's like a cat that's ready to pounce or something. You're just in that stance and you're just ready to go. But you can't stay in this position for too long. I mean, if you sit like this for more than like 20, 30 minutes, you're gonna start feeling aches and stuff, and you also get tired. We've come to realize that you can't do that for long periods of time. But back then, I don't know if they really cared because like they were just designing it for the office environment, and the boss kind of wants to crack the whip and make sure you're working all the time. But we realized that if you want to work for longer, you actually need that rest component. We've designed this chair to make sure that you can seamlessly go in between and you are fully supported in both postures.
I know I've heard you talk about how athletes really prioritize rest. How are you thinking about that?
Yeah, so for anyone that's ever gone to the gym or tried to improve themselves athletically, everyone knows the rest set is almost as important as the working set, if not even more important, and how you time it especially. So it's different for everyone, and you can train yourself up to be productive for longer times, but in general, you always still need that rest set. So that's why we've made it just as important for the rest component on our chair as the productive focused component.
A feature that I want to really dive deep into is the RE-CURVE Backrest with the integrated lumbar. How did you think about engineering that?
Well, we wanted to take the guesswork out of adjusting the lumbar. Something that we've noticed in our industry over the past, especially couple of years, is a lot of focus on the lumbar support. And I think it became a trend in the market where everyone's trying to one-up each other on how much lumbar support they have. One thing that a lot of people don't realize is that there is a perfect amount of lumbar, and not more lumbar is better. Just the same as no lumbar is also not as good. So we've done a lot of studies over the years to make sure that we have the perfect amount of lumbar. And what we've come up with is a fully integrated assembly where the foam actually molds over the springs itself. So you're gonna have a much more reactive lumbar experience that is dynamic to whoever's sitting in it. So you'll always find the perfect amount of lumbar support.
I guess I'm curious though, I mean, obviously everyone has a different body type. How do you think about if you're taller or you're a smaller frame, how would this chair, I guess, accommodate?
Through our studies, what we've realized is the dimension between where you need the lumbar support and where you sit doesn't really deviate too much as you grow taller and shorter within the adult range. So we've engineered our backrest so that I'm quite confident that the vast majority of people will be able to sit into this chair and then get the suitable amount of lumbar support that they'll need.
Okay, so talking about adjustments on the chair, let's start with the tilt block and the tilt tension. I think the camera can zoom in a little bit here and we can showcase the cool little user windows and the decisions that you've made here.
One of the things that was really important to me was to be able to go between focus mode and rest mode seamlessly, and also have a transition in between those two modes. So obviously we've got tilt tension that adjusts for your weight class. In the manual you'll see the ranges, so we've got 1 to 4. So I'm sitting around 75 kilos, so I'd sit between around 2. I also use the tension to bias me towards productivity or towards rest. So if I want to stay a little bit more productive, but I want a bit of dynamic movement in my hips, I'll dial it up to 3 or maybe even 4. So when I do lean back, the chair is actively pushing me back into a more upright position where I can stay focused. And then if I want to be a little bit more biased towards rest, I'll dial it all the way down to 1, and I'm going to have a little bit less tension in the backrest, so I can lean back and I can kind of stay in the rest mode.
You know, one of the things that everyone talks about is the feeling of our foam. And I do want to touch upon the difference between other test chairs that are built with mesh. You know, there's some leading chairs out there that have mesh. In terms of the experience and what it does for your body, maybe you can talk about the science behind it.
Sure. It was a decision for us, and it was a difficult one because, mesh chairs are very popular. But, we've done a lot of studies over the years, and they're all pointing at the same thing, that for the seat base specifically, foam just performs better in terms of pressure distribution. And the reason behind that is that mesh, when you sit into it, it acts like a hammock. So when your load is going straight down, it has to transfer the load up to the frames, which is around the mesh, before it goes down to the ground. And then because of that, it's much harder for mesh to be softer or as supportive in the right areas, so that you'll get pressure spikes, depending on how you're sitting and who you are, but it's just much harder to control with mesh. So what you'll find with basically most reputable mesh chairs is that they have to put a layer of foam underneath the mesh anyway, just so that you can get a proper or close to proper pressure distribution so that you can sit for longer. Foam doesn't have that issue because we are able to formulate our foam and the geometry and the contouring to make sure that you have the perfect amount of support where you need it. So I think one of the things that we've actively decided to do is to keep our chairs medium firm, because it'd be so easy for us just to make a super soft chair. People would sit in it and be, oh, this is super comfortable and so much better. But if you sit in it for as long as our customers do, which is 6, 8, 10 hours a day, you will start getting your back pain and you will start getting postural problems. And so we've stuck by that. We really believe that having a medium firm chair is going to be better for your back, and you are going to be able to sit longer and in a more healthy posture as a result of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're okay to sell less chairs because of that.
Yeah. It's a matter of principle.
Yeah.
I love that.
Exactly.
I love that. Okay, so I see a lot of comments online where people are requesting to have the Softweave Plus upholstery with the NanoFoam Composite, and now we have it in the Atlas, so I know everyone's gonna be really excited about that. What are the differences that people feel when they sit on either the Atlas or the Atlas with the NanoFoam Composite?
Okay, so you would start with the upholstery. So we've got leatherette and then we've got soft weave. So for warmer environments, you would go for a soft weave because it's more breathable. And then for the cooler environments, you would go with leather. But also up to personal preference for like what suits your environment, what suits your setup. From there, you would choose between our base models, which would be our patented co-cure foam. So that's the one that everyone knows and loves. It's a medium firm foam, so it provides the perfect amount of support that you need throughout the day. But if you want to elevate it a touch, you can go for the NanoFoam, which is our dual composite, where we've got the co-cure foam base and then a NanoFoam layer on top. And what that does is it makes it feel a little bit more plush and soft without compromising on the support at all. So you still have the perfect amount of support you need, but just with an extra soft layer. I'm currently sitting in the NanoFoam one, and obviously I would recommend that to everyone, but I do also know a lot of our customers and our colleagues prefer the firmer sitting experience as well. So I think it really comes down to preference. You can be confident that you're going to get the support that you need with both of them. It's just really, do you prefer a firmer sitting experience or a softer sitting experience?
Let's talk about the aesthetics. I know that we're debuting the Dune colorway and the Dune Plus. That's what you're in right now. What did we think about the colorways and why did we choose these colorways?
I think over the years, I'm a little bit older. I feel a little bit more mature. And we decided that we wanted to go for something a bit more understated that blends well with the rest of your setup. So whether you have wood, whether you have plants, whether you have white or black, I'm confident that one of these chairs is going to blend in and fit really well with your setup. So with the Dune one in particular, I think it works really well with like warmer environments. So like people with wooden setups, if you've got plants like greenery, then it just sits together really nicely.
Yeah, and the color matching of the whole chair looks just absolutely sleek.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it looks very good.
Okay, the question that everyone is asking, how would you choose between the Titan Evo and the Atlas?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think a lot of people watching this might be asking right now. And I think a lot of it comes down to preference, but let me make this a little bit easier for people. The Atlas, as we've been saying, is really built around productivity. So if you're working from home or even in the office, I guess, but you want to stay focused and productive for most of the time that you're going to be sitting in the chair, I would recommend the Atlas. If you plan on sleeping in your chair, spending like a lot of time in your chair doing everything, if you're going to be watching a mini series for like 10 to 12 hours, I'd recommend the Evo, because the Evo's got the recline so that you can recline it down into like a bed, and it's a little bit bigger, so you're gonna have a little bit more of a sofa experience, I guess. So the distinction between the two really is, if you want to relax and sleep and spend way more time on it than the Evo, and if you want to be more productive and task focused, but still have the ability to, sit back and relax every now and then, watch a movie or a couple of episodes, then the Atlas will be good.
Well, I think that wraps up today. Thank you so much, Vincent. And thank you everyone for joining at home. I know that you have questions. I see them in the chat. Our community managers are answering as many as possible, but I know that there are specific questions around your house or your aesthetics or something that matters to you. So please do ask it and we'll get to it. Otherwise, you can go to our Reddit. We have a very extensive FAQ up. And of course, our website is up as well. The Secretlab Atlas is available from $499 if you're in the US. So go ahead and check it out. Thanks, everyone.